Have you tried to play this game where you try to make a dick? Where do you go? Wow. That didn't look like a dick. You gotta be louder. Wow. Alright, you try.
It's gonna be really quick, so you gotta be. Whoa!
Okay, you gotta go. Wow. Almost there. Penis C.
Whoa! Better.
Wow. You gotta make like you're actually getting a dick in your mouth and you go, wow.
Why don't you just make the Velociraptor sound?
Ow. I was almost. That's a little chode. That's chody.
That's chody.
Show is chody. All right, James, start this video.
Alright, adventurers. I need about 5 lizard tails right now. If you need to start your quest, we need to get this done.
Can I opt out of that? Is there a tavern I can go to?
You need to get this done and get your adventure started. No other option.
No other option. And on that, I guess we're doing quests.
Quests! Let's quest!
I beat you to it, dick.
Damn it.
So what makes a good quest? And how does one go about ascertaining these mystical quests? What are those quests?
Things players can do to gain experience, level up, and, you know, go on some adventures.
Yeah, I just define a quest as a, you know, kind of like a mission or a goal that you're trying to aim towards. That's either defined by an end goal or defined by
Short-term goal?
Yeah, short-term goal, long-term goal. Example of a terrible quest would be getting lizard tails for no apparent reason. I mean, yeah, not a lot of fun in just doing something repetitive and doing the same thing over and over and over again. Ideally, you want a quest to be at least somewhat unique or somewhat, you know, to learn something from it or to gain something from it, or to just have fun doing it.
It should always be something that not just the player, but the actual adventuring character should be wanting to do. Because if it's something that fits within those guidelines, like this character would want to do this, then more often the player will also feel more invested in such a quest.
Let me ask you this: what is some good early level quest for adventuring?
Well, there's always the tried and true. Your party is sitting in a tavern, and the bartender comes up and gives you some kind of menial task, like something like, "Oh, there's some big fucking rats in our cellar. Can you go kick their ass for me?" Or there's some ruffians that keep coming around here trying to shake me down. Can you kick their ass for me? Or there's another bar that's been stealing my secret recipe for Mama's apple pie. Can you go kick their ass for me?
Not Mama's apple pie.
Mama's apple pie. Ooh, so now we're getting into heists. Let me ask you this: you ever had a dream quest?
Nah.
No.
Nah.
No.
I don't think so.
No. Well,
sometimes a adventure can get started by, you know, just waking up from a dream that, like, you see these terrible things happening. You have no idea what it means or what context it is, and then, you know, as you're going through your adventures, you see, like, hints of that.
Little pieces of that.
And it could even be, like, you know, very symbolized too. Like, you know, you see, like, an owl, you know, being very cautious about these things happening, and then as you're traveling, you see, like, an owl that, you know, is following you, and it might have something to do with your goal or quest.
That was something that was happening to Trent, right?
Yeah, my
campaign.
My bard in the good campaign, and he kept having these dreams about an explosion going off, like an explosion he's never seen before. And it turns out, like, as we're building up to it, we finally get to the end and find out that they built a nuke.
Mm-hmm.
And when we did that, we finally get there, and I'm like, I had to make a deal. And my deal was I was going to end up surviving, which I didn't.
You did not.
I did not survive. So I got Jude out of my my deal.
Unfortunately, you got shot directly in the face with about 40 missiles.
Yeah, 40 minutes. They were delayed blast fire bolts, if I remember correctly.
They whipped your ass
Yeah,
pretty
they
hard.
did.
The gods did not choose you to prosper.
What was that fight? Was that a?
We were fucking just free falling.
Yeah, we were free falling, but what were we fighting? It was the
Chrono Trin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a giant birdman with big muscle arms, and it can take 2 turns, and he has like a bunch of time stop powers.
Yeah. Time stop, delay, blast, fireballs. What?
Yeah, in that campaign, in that good campaign, it's a military focused style of game. So every quest that we got in that game, it was a very like direct, like obviously this is the quest that you're being given. There's no like ambiguity about it. It was, all right, you've succeeded this mission. You come back to base, you turn in your quest, and then they give you another one, and you just rinse and repeat until you've completed the entire campaign.
I mean, it wasn't exactly rinse and repeat because we ended up going AWOL.
Yeah, I think I did. I don't know.
We all went AWOL.
We went AWOL, but it was a planned AWOL.
It was a planned AWOL.
Yeah, the thing about D&D too is that you can make your own quests as a players.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming that your DM isn't either isn't railroading you too hard or is adaptable to that.
Well, there is certain times when you can do a personal side quest when you can't.
Yeah, I mean, if someone
it's not like Skyrim where you'll be like, oh, I'm right in the middle of about to go stop Alduin and save the world. No, I'm gonna go find these 50 lizard tails.
Yeah, I haven't beat up this
really
bitch.
want these lizard tails.
I really.
Or even just there's dragons attacking the world. That's fine. I'm not gonna go even talk about this for at least until I've completed most of this game.
Yeah, but I mean, even before that happens, like at the very beginning, like I want to go this in this completely opposite direction, away from
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you can railroad, you can adapt, and you can redirect. It's just how you want to go about it.
Like I always had in this current campaign that we were playing, the Hunter campaign, we're playing it on a continent called Tuchanka, and it is the most like dangerous place on the planet. And I always had like a subplot, like a secret quest, basically, that if they ever decided they wanted to go visit the Colosseum, I had an entire quest line.
Do that.
I had an entire quest line ready for it.
To do that, but I don't think Ethan would have been down for, or Go would have been down for it.
Yeah, and like that's another thing. You can have like secret quests, or you can have like quests that you're ready for if the players ever want to do it, that are kind of there but not there.
What? Okay, since that campaign is ending, what was that quest going to be?
It was basically going to be like, except only at the point that you guys are at now, would you guys even be able to fight basically anything that would be alive in Colosseum at this point. So it was basically just going to be like you guys watching, and you guys would be like he was going to pay you guys and like give you guys like basically give you guys like VIP access to the Colosseum if you guys went and like captured tigers and captured dinosaurs for them. And you're just like, oh, cool, we get to be pals with Colosseum.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And I was also going to do a subplot that I don't know if Ethan was going to be comfortable with, where since all of he's one of the Dino Riders, that's a whole different backstory. Basically, they got to drink from the Fountain of Youth, which is what all elves in this world kind of draw their immortality from.
Or prolonged life. It gets corrupted.
Yeah, it got corrupted. And what I was going to do is, since there's anti-magic, that everlasting life that all of them have since they drank from this fountain gets monkey's pawed, more or less.
Ooh.
So, like for Colosseum, yes, he won't die from natural causes, and he won't ever grow old, but in fact, he's going to start growing younger.
Ooh.
So by the time you guys come and meet Coliseum, he's basically a 14-year-old.
Yeah, a 14-year-old little minotaur.
Who still has all the combat prowess and knowledge and expertise as this million-year-old thing. And then, like, once the anti-magic ends, he just 5,000 or 1,000 years later. No, even better. The thing starts working properly again, where it stops him at whatever age he was. He drank it at. So he's stuck as this badass 7-year-old, basically.
Yes. Yes.
If he wanted to do that. If not, it's whatever. Like, I just thought that was like almost like an Easter egg quest that you guys could go on and find.
I almost want to go do that after the campaign ends. It's just like, yeah, I go out and I meet Coliseum now.
Yeah.
He's like 12.
He's like, I'm fucking so badass. And you're like, oh yeah? Seriously?
That's cool. I'm good. I'm just gonna lay here.
Yeah. And that's like something a player can do. They can have their own personal quests, like making their own enclave of evil scion cultist people. And
then having it backfire.
Starting an evil empire is an undertaking.
It is an undertaking.
That was basically the entire point behind whenever we played our evil campaign. I felt like we were given quests, but that game was at its strongest when it was a sandbox that said, what do you want to do? As the DM, I'll figure it out. Like, that was when it was at the strongest, when we just kind of ran roughshod and just figured out what to do.
It really was. Between me buying slaves and Jouffre going out and just causing all sorts of havoc
and stuff.
That was truly a character I admired, by the way.
Yeah.
He was truly an agent of chaos.
And that's what it was meant to be.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a challenge for, like, how do you give a good quest to an evil person? It's like, we need you to go save that person. It's like, no.
Nah.
Okay, well, we need you to go kill that person? Okay.
Okay.
But
how
then,
much?
Yeah. It's like, well, is that going to be entertaining at that point? And that's when you kind of need to figure out what the aim of such a campaign would be. And if it was me, it'd be like basically on 1 or 2 levels. Either we're going to have an evil campaign centered around you guys basically being in the cult of Cthulhu, more or less. Mm-hmm. And your guys' thing is you need to go, like, break into this temple and steal this artifact. You need to slay this beast so we can have its heart. Get these 7 lizards' tails for the ritual. Or it would be something just like you guys are on the bottom rung of the Thieves Guild, and by the end of this, you guys should be the pashas of this thing.
The pashas?
Yeah, the head guys in charge.
The head guys in charge. Never heard that term. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah, we heist, assassination. Another good one is the king calls upon the adventuring group, asking them for assistance, or hell, even mages college could call asking for their assistance.
Yeah, just being like, well, we've scryed out where this magic item is, but it's behind all of these badass monsters. We need you guys to go get this for us. Like, I don't know exactly what the backstory of this show is, but there's a game, like this D&D like show called Acquisitions Inc. And I don't know what it's about, but just like the name of that just sounds awesome. Like if my adventuring party is called Acquisitions Inc., it's like you hire us to go collect stuff. Like that's a perfect like framework for whatever kind of quest that you want to have just pop up for players.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes you can have a villain quest, kind of. Like, so let's say you meet a villain who's way too powerful for you, but you need to get around him or use him or need something that's he has access to. So it's more like a you do this and I give you that kind of thing. And sometimes that can be kind of interesting, or might have to come up with unique scenarios to get around that.
Yeah, like he shows up, kicks your ass, and then just bails. That's usually how it happens.
I think he's more talking about something like the Ghost Lord in the Red Hand of Doom.
Oh yeah,
where you find this Lich's phylactery, and you basically bribe him with his own phylactery to not fight in a war.
Yeah, which is what we did.
And that's like a thing. Like, you find this phylactery, and it doesn't overtly say it, but it has opened some sort of quest line where you're like, well, why do these people have it? And you kind of like start trying to figure it out, and it kind of doesn't even come to fruition until you actually start like finding where the ghost lord is. Like, oh, he's being blackmailed by this group of hobgoblins to be in this war because they have his phylactery. So then all you have to do is give it back, and it's kind of, that's one of those kind of quests that kind of flows on its own, where the players kind of take the initiative. And I think that's ultimately probably the most rewarding kind of quest for at least a player to be on, was one that he thinks of, where it doesn't feel like he's been told to do a task. It feels like he's like, oh, I'm taking the initiative.
Yeah. And then, I mean, you know as the DM where the character is going to go, more than likely. And then the character follows that path on his own. Mm-hmm. And that's well set up.
Yeah. Especially once you get way up there, and the quests start coming out as, like, this is the end of the world threat. Like,
Yeah, and it's not always smooth, but it's definitely better when it just flows naturally. Like when one thing leads to the other and it doesn't feel like forced.
Yeah. Like I've definitely fallen into I've definitely fallen into that trap. I thought it was my weird cut. I definitely fell into that trap on the Hunters campaign, because that was a mission based like quest storyline thing, but I still wanted you guys to have that downtime, and then sometimes it wouldn't. The story that you guys have kind of gotten yourselves into with
Neo.
With Neo's shenanigans kind of necessitated me, like, basically literally coming out and going, okay, stuff has progressed. We need to advance quicker than what we normally would in this situation.
Shit hit the fan. Someone's over here murdering orphans.
Speaking of Neo, the chosen one from the Matrix, that's sometimes the storyline within the game of, at least even once coming all the way back to like, how do we start this? Sometimes you're just the chosen one. You're prophesized to be this great champion, which is why you're giving all these quest lines and why you have some semblance of plot armor.
Yeah, the gods picked you. You know, who knows why? That's up to you to find out.
The other end of that could always be you're the villain and you're going to kill the chosen one. Ooh. Which, that sounds interesting.
That sounds fun as shit.
Yes, it does.
You have to kill the chosen one. He's always you always almost get him, but then you have to blast off like Team Rocket every time.
Just that thought, like, that gets a lot of stuff spiraling in my head. Like,
I know.
Like, is it that you guys go to fight the chosen one, and maybe he's just like this lawful good paladin that whips your ass, and he says, "Oh, but I will not slay you because I'm too good for that." And you guys are just laying there broken and beaten like,
that could always be a thing. Or maybe he has too many allies, or we have to like enslave something, or
you have to hunt him down.
You gotta hunt him down while he's sleeping, or
that can just be the entire game. It's just one long like this clue leads to this clue leads to this dungeon that goes through, and you have like a thing, and it's basically all just trying to find this chosen one.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, maybe Cthulhu wants his soul or something trapped in this special dagger.
Yeah.
He's like the chosen of Bahamut, like, and Tiamat's like, you need to kill this guy.
Mm-hmm. Me, like the group of orcs who, like, if you're going off the mythology where, like, elves, the gods gave elves this land, the humans got this land, all the other races got lands, but the orcs are just kind of... So maybe you're playing as orcs and you're trying to take over everything, because you deserve something.
Mm-hmm. And then at that point, that would also be like you could make that basically a big sandbox quest where it's, here's all the lands, you're here, you want it.
Shadow of Mordor, except you're the orcs.
Yeah, you want it, what do you do?
Yeah.
And just at the end of your campaign, sometimes you have the galaxy-defining quests.
The galaxy-defining quests, like the Apocalypse quest?
Yeah, the Apocalypse quest, where, like, if you don't act, everything's gone.
Oh my.
Or if you do act, everything's gone.
Everything's gone.
Depending on what kind of campaign you're doing.
Yes.
And you always want to have that slow burn kind of escalation. I think there's a lot of people that kind of want to have every kind of ending to, I guess, every arc be the big bombastic thing to where, like, you're just kind of peaking over and over again. Whereas, like, don't want to try to act like I'm some paragon of great story design, but I kind of felt like, you know, you have one where you guys go and you kill a bunch of really weak orcs and you liberate this dwarven temple, and then we go onto your campaign, your section of it, to where you go and you defeat giants and you find you find out they have this kind of big master plan on top of this mountain. So it's kind of built on top of that, and then we fight Dio, and we find out that, you know, the scions are kind of up to something that may or may not be any good, and then that gets compounded onto dragons that are kind of like grouping together and also have like ties to, you know, now dead Dio, and then all that kind of culminates in the scions are now trying to like basically take over the entire city. So we've gone from, you know, just, you know, hunting orcs down to save the entire city.
And it felt very natural and fluid. That's why I think I've enjoyed this campaign so much.
Well, I'm glad that I was having real worries about me just straight up being like, all right, now you guys gotta do this. Now you gotta do that.
No, I think between me, Go, and Neo, we've had enough to where we could kind of enforce what we want to do as characters with what is going on with the quest line.
Right.
So I think that ended up actually just flowing out really well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I felt like that was a good progression for my character. Like, he developed with the
more like regression.
Yeah, he went from unfeeling thing to murderous tyrant.
Yeah, murderous tyrant.
He basically turned into a murder hobo, almost, because he didn't have a house at first. I mean, he's crashing other places.
Yeah.
So, like, that's a great topic. Let's get into murder hobos. How about that?
Why don't we get on to that
on the next episode?